Well, today is International Migrants Day, a day observed annually to promote the protection of the rights of migrants and their families. Kenya is host to numerous refugees seeking safe haven from conflict. Immigrants from Somalia face challenges in their new lives in Kenya. Lenny Ruvaga reports from Nairobi.
22-year-old Ahmed Shakie runs a clothing business in Eastleigh, on the outskirts of the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. 4 years ago, he and two friends combined their resources to import clothes from Dubai and China and sell them at a profit. Their thriving enterprise draws in customers from all over the area. What's notable about their success is the fact that Shakie is a Somali refugee. He fled Mogadishu 7 years ago, but says he plans to return someday to rebuild his country.
Somalia, there's fighting always. There are terrorists, and it isn't a peaceful place. It is not a place to live. Now that we are here in Kenya, we live and work here. When Somalia becomes peaceful, we will go back home.
Eastleigh, or small Mogadishu, is home to thousands of Somali migrants. Most who have attained legal status are either second or third generation Kenyan Somalis. Journalist Said Hassan fled the Hodan district in Somalia in 2006 at the height of the Al-Shabaab insurrection. Hassan worked at Horn Africa Radio, which was taken over by extremists. Today, Hassan works at Star FM, which is based in Eastleigh. The radio station covers Kenya and parts of Somalia. He says he and other Somalis face similar challenges living in Kenya.
Number one is the ethnic profiling. Also, there is a lack of documentation. We have come here for so long, and we have a problem of getting the proper IDs in Kenya. And when we come across to the police, they ask us ID. Well, we don't have it.
2 weeks ago, the International Organization for Migration, or IOM, in collaboration with UNHCR, began the voluntary repatriation of 94 Somali refugees from Kenya, 23 years after conflict and famine drove them from their homeland. The process is supported by Somalia. Michael Pellinger, the Senior Operations Officer and Programs Coordinator, says the refugees are provided humane treatment.
Well, IOM, along with other partners such as UNHCR, the Government of Kenya and other organizations, assists, ensures that that refugees that are coming into Kenya have all the adequate services available to them in relation to their concerns or whether in transit, or whether they are for a given period of time allowed to stay in Kenya until their situation is resolved.
As the world marks International Migrants Day on December 18th, IOM is looking towards its post-2015 development plan to ease the poverty of the migrants in Kenya. Lenny Ruvaga for VOA News, Nairobi.
Well, the International Organization for Migration is the leading inter-governmental organization dedicated to promoting humane and orderly migration by providing services and advice to governments and migrants. To tell us more about Migrants Day, I am joined via Skype by Lluca Dall'Oglio, IOM Chief of Mission here in the United States. Mr. Dall'Oglio, first, give us a sense of why this day is important.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me on your program. Well, International Migrants Day is indeed a very important day that IOM and others celebrate throughout the world. In every country, we try to promote specific events on this day to mark the occasion and connect it to key issues that every year we identify within the migration discourse. This year, I think we want to reflect on a very important issue, which is saving migrants' lives. It is said that while migrants, international migrants, are such an important actor for shaping societies and contributing to development, so many of them every year die in transit.
Now, we know that countries like Italy feel so overwhelmed by the stream of migrants, including countries like Yemen. So what is the best way? Is it to stop the migrants from getting to the shores of these countries, or to make it even safer and more dignified for them to get to where they need to get to?
Well, first of all, stopping migration is a concept that can hardly is not feasible practically, and it's not feasible politically, economically, socially, and also from a human rights point of view. Every person has the right to leave his own country and to seek, particularly in the case of people under persecution, to seek protection from the international community in other states. But the issue goes beyond refugees. Now we have about 232 million migrants around the world, for whom, as you said at the beginning of your program, their protection, their rights needs to be enforced. So how to enforce it? Well, it's not just a matter of one single country, Italy. By the way, I'm an Italian citizen myself. In Italy, we don't have a huge number of migrants compared to many other immigration countries. In Australia, there are about 30% of the population was born overseas, abroad, where in Italy, the figure is about 10%. So it's not a huge number. It's a number that needs to be managed. And here is the issue. It needs to be managed in a way that is feasible, that is humane, that is in conformity with human rights law. And particularly, we cannot afford to have every year 5,000 migrants die while in transit, of whom more than 3,000 dying to reach Italy.
Here's the question. Why is it that the world has not galvanized around this issue to stop that from happening, to resolve this issue once for all?
Because often migration is a complex issue that is often used for political short-term gains, and it's very difficult to advocate on behalf of migrants in environments where migrants are often perceived as taking away jobs, or often perceived as being overstaying guests and so on. This is not a reality, but often this is the rhetoric. And unfortunately, the Operation Mare Nostrum that has been conducted in the Mediterranean to save migrants' lives has been discontinued because many European Union countries have not felt the need and not sustained the need to maintain that operation and to spend resources for that.
Thank you. We will continue this conversation another time. Mr. Dall'Oglio, we appreciate your insights. Well, Lluca Dall'Oglio is the International Organization of Migration Chief of Mission right here in the United States.